All right, let's move on now to the final email of the day. And the final email today comes to us from Jean Shelly, who writes, did you hear that they're looking at making a sequel to The Social Network? This is something they should actually do. Is there a point? I love the first movie, but I thought it ended really well and doesn't really have anywhere to go. What do you think? All right, thanks a lot for the email, John. And just so you guys know what he's talking about, of course, the guy who wrote the first The Social Network, one of the great writers of our generation, Aaron Sorkin, was asked about it recently and he was mentioning that the producer, Scott Rudin, had been getting in touch with him. Anyway, Aaron Sorkin had this to say about it, and this is what's getting everybody talking. Sorkin said the following: I've gotten more than one email from him, that's Scott Rudin, the producer, with an article attached saying, isn't it time for a sequel? First of all, I know a lot more about Facebook in 2005 than I do about it in 2018. But I know enough to know that there should be a sequel. A lot of very interesting, dramatic stuff has happened since that movie ends. And of course, that's the writer Aaron Sorkin, who just tried his hands in directing and did Molly's Game, which I thought was tremendously awesome.
I did too.
But anyway, Robert, do you think, number one, should there be a follow-up to a Facebook movie? And do you think people would be interested in it?
First of all, I think that The Social Network is one of the most rewatchable movies that's come out.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that film. I love the performances. But the thing that makes The Social Network, I think, so great is at its core is you have this fracturing of a friendship.
Yes.
You know, you have Mark Zuckerberg and Eduardo Saverin, and then
played by Andrew Garfield, who, by the way, wasn't nominated for Best Supporting Actor that year, and I think he should have won Best Supporting Actor that year.
He was so good, you know, and Justin Timberlake is so good in that performance, and Brenda Strong. I mean, it's a great movie. Now, what's happened with Facebook now? Facebook became a power player on the world stage.
Right.
And while I don't know how you find your way into a sequel to The Social Network, because what happened with Facebook, with Cambridge Analytics, and what happened with the 2016 election and data hacking, it's gone from being a story about friendship to being almost a James Bond thriller, and how Facebook has come to sort of encompass the planet. I mean, I remember the ad for Social Network. It says, how do you get to have 500 million friends without? Yeah. And now it's like,
without making some enemies.
We're talking billions of people now, you know, billions of people. And Facebook changed communication for all of humanity. So I think it's rich. The material's rich for another movie about Facebook. But I don't know if you could make a sequel to The Social Network, because it doesn't have that friendship element that made it human and made it so rewatchable.
The interesting thing to me about first of all, your observations about the humanity angle of the story is bang on, which is why I thought Andrew Garfield should have won an Academy Award, because he brought the heart, he brought the humanity to the film, right? Here's the thing, though. I think there's a very interesting angle here, because you're going from a movie where Facebook is that little scrappy up-and-comer that can conquer the mountain and stand up against the big brothers of the world, to it has morphed into Big Brother.
Right.
It has become that thing that the little scrappy guy would fight against and climb those mountains. Because not only with the Cambridge stuff and the hacking stuff, there have been a lot of like alarms and flags raised about privacy and how you know, Facebook is used to manipulate certain things and blah, and all this kind of stuff. And how, you know, somebody like this kid who started Facebook is now the head of one of the most giant corporations on the planet, and his struggles between, you know, his allegiance to his old philosophies versus his allegiance to being a corporate master and all this kind of stuff.
Definitely.
In the hands of an Aaron Sorkin, here's what I'll say. I'd be very down for a sequel if Aaron Sorkin wrote it again. If not, I'd be lukewarm on it. But if he wrote it, I'd be down for it.
I'm with you 100%. You know, and you know, what you just said is very true. The Social Network was based on a book called The Reluctant Billionaires. So there was a roadmap for Sorkin to take. And there's been a lot of books written about Facebook in the intervening years. But I'm curious. I mean, would you still make the story about Zuckerberg? You know, or would you make it a bigger, more of maybe a thriller even? I
think I would still keep it character centric. I think I would tell from the story from the point of view of Zuckerberg and go from it that way. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see what approach they want to take. All right, guys, listen.